Hey, fourth graders. Today we're going to take a look at renaming fractions as percents. You will need a calculator later, so make sure you go grab that. We're going to start off with a little bit of mental math. The first question says, what is 50% of 60? So I know 50% means half. So what's half of 60? The answer is 30. What is 100% of 60? So 100% is the whole thing. So what is the whole thing of 60? It's 60. What is 10% of 60? Well, if you remember from the past lessons, I said if you're figuring out 10% of an item, you just move the decimal over one place. So instead of being 60, it would be 6. So 10% of 60 is 6. Next is 25% of 40. So I know 25 is the same as 1/4. Because you're thinking quarters. So what's 1/4 of 40? Well, if you take 40 and break it up into 4 even groups, they'd each be worth 10. So 1/4 or 25% is 10. Again, 1/4, 25% of 32. Well, 32 divided by 4 is 8. So what 25% is 8. So then 75% would be 8 and 8 and 8. So 8 times 3, it would be 24. 20% of 150. So I'm going to first figure out 10%. So I'm going to take my decimal and move it over 1. So 10% is 15. 20% would be 15 plus 15. So it would be 30. 40% of 110. So again, I'm going to take the decimal and move it over to figure out 10%. So if I move the decimal over once, it'd be 11. So 10% is 11. 20% is 11 plus 11 equals 22. 30% is 11 plus 11 plus 11 equals 33. 40% is 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11 equals 44. All right, now today you're going to need a calculator. It doesn't matter if your calculator is a regular handheld calculator or if it's on an iPhone or an iPad. It doesn't really matter, but you need a calculator that hopefully has a percent button like this. If not, that's okay. So we know that if we find 1/4, that's the same as 25%. But how are we going to find that on the calculator? Well, here are some of your options. You can, on your calculator, push the 1 key, then push the divide key, then push the 4 key, and then you're going to push the percent key. Okay, it's going to look like that. Then you may push equal. If you do that, your calculator will probably say 25. So that means the percent for 1/4 is 25. Now, if your calculator does not have a percent key, that's okay. All you're going to do then is you're going to push the 1 key divided by the 4 key, and then you're going to push equals. And you'll actually get the decimal here, 0.25. In order to turn that decimal into a percent, you have two options. You can just push times 100, or you can move the decimal over 2 places in your head. So if you move the decimal over 2 places, you would get 25%. All right, let's do some more practice. I want you to put in your calculator, these are the combinations. If you have the percent key, follow this row. If you don't, follow this row. So in your calculator, put 33 divided by 75, and then put the percent key, and you should get 44. It might not have the percent afterwards, but it will say 44. So that means that 33 over 75, that fraction, the percent is 44%. If you don't have the percent key, just do 33 divided by 75 equals, you'll get the decimal. Then just take that number, so leave it up there and just push times 100, and you'll get 44. All right, so this number here, we have 67 hundredths. So if we want to turn this decimal into a percent, all you're going to do is take it times 100. Taking it times 100 is the same as moving the decimal over 2 places. 1, 2. So the percent here is going to be 67%. Okay, so same thing. Now, if I get this decimal, if this is a decimal, 375 thousandths, you're going to take it times 100 or move the decimal over 2 places. If you move it over 1, 2 to the right, you would get 37.5. So then the percent is 37.5%. Now sometimes you're going to get longer ones like this. Again, take it times 100 or move the decimal over 2 places, 1, 2, and you would get 16.66. So the percent then would be 16.66%. So why is this important in the real world? When are you ever going to use percents, decimals, fractions, things like that? Well, you actually use it quite a bit, especially if you ever go shopping for groceries, for clothes, cars, whatever. It doesn't matter what you're shopping for. And I'll tell you how that you might use this in the real world. I found this awesome piggy bank. And it's on Amazon, and it is about $50. Now, right now, they're offering 10% off of this wooden piggy bank. So how much is it? It didn't tell me, it just said it was 10% off. So how much I don't know how much it's going to be. Now, 10% is the easiest one to figure out how much it's off. To figure out what's 10% of 50, you just move the decimal over 1 place. So right now my decimal's right here after the 0. So 10% of $50, you just move the decimal 1 time. 5. So that means if it's 10% off, that means I get $5 off the cost of this piggy bank. So if I take 50 minus $5, this piggy bank is now going to cost me $45. So what if it said it was 20% off? Well, again, always figure out 10% first. 10%, move the decimal over once, is $5. 20% is 5 plus 5 would be $10. So I would do 50 minus 10 equals $40. You're not going to, it's not saying that it costs the 10%. That's how much you get off. So that's when you might use it in the real world. All right, here are some number stories where you might have to practice using 10%. So this store is offering 10% off their items. So you're going to take 10% off the regular price. So first, the CD player cost $140. They say it's 10% off, and again, you take the decimal, move it over once. So the discount is $14. To figure out the sale price, it says subtract the regular price minus the discount. You can do this on your calculator. Do 140 minus 14, and you'd get 126. They say the giant screen TV cost $1,200. To figure out 10%, take this number, move the decimal over once, and it would go between the zeros. So it would be $120. That's the discount. That's the 10%. So on your calculator, do $1,200 minus 120, and you would get $1,080. See if you can figure out the radio. So pause it and see if you can figure out the radio. All right, so for the radio, it would cost $80. The 10% discount, you'd move the decimal over 1 time. It would be 8. So the discount is $8. Now, calculator, do 80 minus 8. The new sale price of the radio is $72. Now here they give you the discount. So usually I've been moving the decimal 1 to the left, and that gives me the discount. So now I have to do the opposite. I have to move it 1 to the right. So if I move this once to the right, I'd add a 0. The regular price is now $30. The discount is $3 off. So 30 minus 3 equals 27. All right. An airline is offering a 25% discount. I know 25% is the same as 1/4. So you're going to be breaking this up into 1/4. So breaking into 4 groups. So they said that the regular airfare is $400. The discount, well, if you take 400 and divide it into 4 groups, they're each worth 100. So you're going to take off $100. So 400 minus 100 equals 300. This one, the regular airfare, is $240. Now divide that into 4 equal groups. 240 divided into 4 equal groups would be each worth 60. So 240 minus $60 equals 180. Now this one, they give you the discount. So here I've been dividing by 4 to get the discount. The opposite of division is multiplication. So now I'm going to take 75 times 4. You can quick solve it or use your calculator, but 75 times 4 is going to go right here, and that's going to give me 300. So 300 minus the discount, $75, equals 225. The regular price of a swing set is $400. Mrs. Lefevre received a 30% discount because she ordered it during the big spring sale. So we got to figure out how much she saved. Like I said, always start with the 10%. So if I have $400 and I figure out 10%, I move the decimal once to the left. So 10% off is $40. 20% off is $40 plus $40, which is $80. 30% is $40 plus $40 plus $40 equals $120. So her 30% discount is $120. That's how much she's going to save. So how much does she pay? Well, you take the original price, $400, minus the discount, $120. She's going to end up paying $280 for her new swing. All right, you guys are going to do your study link. And on it says, do not use a calculator to convert these. You on the back of this page show your work. You can do it on the back, you can do it on the sides, you can do it on scratch paper, whatever. But here's my advice. Since you can't use a calculator, you should simplify first. Okay, so simplify these fractions before you figure out the percents. Now, like this one, that was an easy one because it's out of 100, out of 100. Sometimes you might have to simplify, and sometimes you might have to find equivalent fractions. So this one, 42 over 50, I might want to start simplifying. So maybe divide them both by 2, divide them by 2 again. Or you might want to do like this one. I might want to make it out of 100. So take the top and the bottom both times 2, and you'd get 84 hundredths. So that would be 84%. Again, this one, take both of them times 5. This one right here, 25 over 125, I would simplify that. I would divide them both by the same number, maybe 25. Divide them both by 25. So some of these you might want to simplify first, like this 49/70th. I might want to divide them both by 7 first. And this 60 over 400, you might want to simplify. Just keep dividing by 2 until you get it to the simplest version. Again, on these, do not use a calculator to convert these decimals to percents. All you have to do is move the decimal over place twice to the left. And then the practice 18, 19, 20, you're going to put them from smallest to largest. Again, I would do kind of what I did with the arrows, right? So 7/16, that's less than a half, so I draw a down arrow. 7/8, that's more than a half, so I might draw an up arrow. So you can do that, or think of how much of a pizza is being eaten. You can draw pictures, whatever you need to. If you guys have any questions, send your teacher an email or Seesaw message.